Hey, welcome to Unstoppable Agents. This is the show that real estate agents come to build their business, highest achievement that EXP has to offer. The folks that I get a chance to spend time with and interview have built great businesses, and they're spending time with me to give back, hopefully to educate agents, new agents, and really agents that are just aspiring to bigger and better things. I'm excited today because I've got James Billman joining us. He's coming from Idaho Falls, Idaho. So James, thanks for joining me. I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we got to start by congratulations. You just earned or just awarded your second Icon Award. Congrats on one and two times. That's a big deal.
No, thank you very much.
It's pretty cool that that's an award that we get to earn every year. A lot of brokerages give awards, but most of the time they come with a certificate or a plaque or something like that. The awards from EXP come with, it's got a little bit more to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that stock little option that they throw in there with it makes it a lot nicer than just the plaque. So the plaque is awesome and everything, but I've got a couple plaques from some other brokerages, but when I left there, they didn't send me any money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's pretty great. It's the kind of gift that keeps on giving, right? Because as the market goes up, it improves. And simply the fact that you're an owner in the company. Nobody works harder at a company than the owner. And being an owner means that I'm sure that you continue to pouring in and investing in the business growth.
Yep. No, totally. Anytime you can have ownership in anything versus just being an agent there, or people take more pride in that. They work a little bit harder but they should, because the rewards there. So anyways, yeah, there's definitely everything I've done. I've always been an owner and whatever. So that was one of those things that really attracted me to
It's a funny thing because, we're in real estate and we regularly have a conversation with people about owning their home, owning their property, right? So stopping renting and owning a home. And I think so often people don't realize that they're renting their real estate career by being at a brokerage where there's not ownership, where ownership is not an option. It's pretty great to be able to transition from renting a house to buying a house or to owning your house, and great to transition from renting your career to owning your career and having something that you can take with you.
Well, the best part is when, your buy-in to EXP to be an owner is what, 100, I don't even know what it is, $145 or $165 to join EXP versus I bought a Coldwell Banker brokerage. It cost me a little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. So I'd actually love to hear your real estate stories. Tell us a little bit about how you got started and how you grew.
I started out, I own a catering company. I've owned this catering company for about 30 years. My catering company led into 4 steakhouses and restaurants. So I fed a lot of people. I built some commercial buildings, things like that. And it was actually my mother that come to me one day. I was getting a little burnout with restaurant employees. I had over 200 employees. And so I was a full-time babysitter. And so she said, I think you'd be really good at real estate. And so anyways, she brought me a thing to where they had night classes for a real estate license. And I said, well, enough for this. That does interest me a little bit. And so anyways, I went to night school, got the license, and came out. And right off the bat, as soon as I got my real estate license, you feed people for 30 years, a few people. So I have a huge network. So other real estate agents and owners started reaching out to me, wanting me to join the brokerage. And so I started looking at everything. And anyways, kind of like what we were talking about ownership, I did what I usually do. I found an opportunity to buy the Coldwell Banker brokerage here in Idaho Falls. So I'm a brand new agent, know nothing about selling real estate, and buy the Coldwell Banker brokerage. And so I went back to New Jersey, got trained by the Coldwell Banker people. There's a big transition period, things like that. And so I did that for about a year. And I got invited to a Ben Kinney event, which was with Keller Williams. And they asked me to come back to the mastermind. And I sat with one of the owners of the brokerage. And he said, why would you ever want to own your own brokerage? And he says, why would you want to be that babysitter? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I said, that's what I got out of with real estate. Or not with real estate, with restaurants. And I just got tired of being that babysitter. Needless to say, I ended up selling the Coldwell Banker brokerage back to the original owner, and moved over to Keller Williams and took all my listings with me. And I was there for about 5 years, 4.5 to 5 years. So I was on the ALC right out of the gate. So you got to realize that I didn't know if I was doing good or bad because I'd never been a real estate agent before. So when I moved over there, I felt like I was doing mediocre because I felt like I could do more. And so when I moved over, I said, sorry, I've only got 36 listings. I've been trying to have 50. And I'm like, is that good or bad? And they started laughing at me. They're like, our average agent has 6.
Yeah.
And so anyways, the people at Keller Williams, they taught me a lot. I went to family reunions, I joined the farm and ranch division at Keller Williams and got to work with Casey Mock and some great people there. Went across the country, found out my niche was farm and ranch luxury home. And then I've done enough with restaurants and commercial buildings that I understand the commercial market as well. So I am a little bit diverse. I still work with a first-time home buyer here and there, but I have agents in my office that we try to help them take care of those people. And so that's kind of how I've built my career.
And I think when we talked earlier, it was 2.5 years ago. So what caused you to leave the KW Farm and Ranch family and come over to EXP?
There were some issues with the local Keller Williams Market Center. There are some ethics issues that I didn't agree with, and so I started looking elsewhere. And when I was at Keller Williams, I donated some money to KW Cares. They told me I got to go fishing with some bigwig with KW. I had no idea who that was, so I ended up going fishing with Don Hobbs. And so I spent the day on the river with Don. And what's funny is it had been a year since I'd even talked to Don. And I was just starting to look at different brokerages. And I get this phone call from Don Hobbs. And it took me a second to remember who Don was. I'm like, Don Hobbs, why is he calling me? And he said, hey, James, he says, have you ever heard of EXP Realty? And I said, funny, I heard about it yesterday. And he said, I'm going to send you a little video I want you to watch. It's about 45 minutes long. And it was EXP Explained. So I got in my truck. I was driving out of town to go show some property, and I listened to it while I was driving. When I got to where I was going, I texted him. I said, I'm in. I'll call you tomorrow. And so that's how tough it was to recruit me to EXP. But anyways, and it's been the best move I've made in real estate. Awesome. And so hands down.
So what was it that, okay, so you watched the video, and so something grabbed you. What was it?
I own about 5 different companies besides real estate, and there's only so much time in the day. And so I look at every single business that I've ever had, and it's how many revenue streams can I put into this business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So as I'm working throughout my day, if one source of income goes down, I need 1 or 2 or 3 others to come in. So what I got out of this EXP Explained is if I spend the same amount of time in my real estate business as what I was with Keller Williams and everything else, there's multiple sources of revenue, including a residual side. And so I heard that. I understand the power of that. And so that's what I really jumped on. Is I can spend the same number of hours in the day doing this, but I can make more money.
Yep. Yeah. And do it multiple times. And some of it is your work, and some of it is the work of a lot of other people that doesn't even require you to be involved, except on the upfront and when you're producing people. So that's awesome. And as a business guy, I can see how that would make total sense for you. So I want to change gears on you, and we may come back to that, but I want to check. You were your new agent self, or you were giving advice to a new agent right now. What advice would you give an agent?
The same reason I came to EXP is we've only got so much time in this career and everything else. And so the work that you do today, why wouldn't you want there to be a future for tomorrow? So when you're leaving, so real estate agents, everybody has this golden plan of we're going to buy 10 rental properties and it's going to generate $10,000 a month. So when I'm done selling real estate, I have this income of $10,000 a month. If you sit down and look at the average price of a house right now, figure out how much that is. By the time you get done buying 10 houses, you're $3.5 to $4 million in real estate to generate your $10,000 to $12,000 a month. And so when I looked at rev share and things like that, I've only brought in 8 or 9 agents in my rev share. I need to actually get that bumped up, but my average rev share check is between $2,000 and $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so the buying power right there is huge. So if I was a brand new agent coming in, my biggest regret in my real estate career is that I didn't join EXP sooner. And let me tell you a little story about stock, because I'm not a stock guy. Like I didn't follow stock. So I was with EXP for 1 year and 2 months before I even figured out where to log in to see how much stock I had. And when I joined EXP, the stock was trading at $6 a share.
Yeah.
So the very first time that I logged in, I went over there. I had $129,000 worth of stock. And I called up Don and I said, I think it's something screwed up with this thing because this can't be right. So When I left Keller Williams after 4.5, 5 years, I don't have any stock in Keller Williams.
Yeah.
I didn't leave with anything.
Yeah.
So that was pretty powerful for me.
So great. And so where that came from, so it comes from, there are actually 5 different ways for those that are watching. Let me get my hand up there. There are actually 5 different ways to get stock in EXP. So you get stock when you close your first deal. You get stock when you cap every year. You get stock when anybody that you bring to the company closes their first deal. When you hit icon status, that's what this whole session is about the icons of EXP. You earn stock. And then the 5th way, those are all ways that you earn stock. Those are all ways that EXP awards you stock for the things that you're doing. The 5th way is you can actually purchase stock. And so I imagine because of your production, because you do big time farm and ranch, you can actually set aside as much as, now it's 5%. You can put 5% of your closings back in and buy stock at a 10% discount. So those end up over time. If you've ever heard the thing, shavings make a pile, over time, it may be $300, $500, $1,000 at a time, but you do that 10, 20, 50 times a year, and all of a sudden that becomes some big numbers and it compiles over time. So
yeah, it was pretty impressive. It's when you get ready to have an exit strategy or get ready to retire from real estate. If a guy had a couple $1 million in there, it definitely doesn't hurt. So
it definitely doesn't hurt. Okay, so I heard you say that you have a team, and you have a team of agents that work for you. So is that a traditional team where you provide coaching, leadership, maybe some leads? Is that more of the EXP model team? Tell me about your team.
I've had several teams over the years. For the last 1.5 years or so, I haven't had much of a team. It's been me and my wife, and now I've got 2 young agents coming in. So most of our volume is just been off of what we do.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that I'll provide some leads to some of them and younger agents. I'm just more of a mentor to the agents here in my office. Everybody has different philosophies on teams and things like that. I had a hard time taking 50 and 60% of my young agents' commissions right off the bat. And so to me, it took a lot of wind out of their sails. And so I'd find myself writing them checks back for 30% of what we took on the team because I want everybody to do good. Everybody within my circle, I want everybody to succeed. So the younger agents in here in my office, we'll take a small percentage of what they do. But I'm more, for me, if I leave town, I'm coming out to Dallas, Texas here in a week or 2. When I'm gone, if I have a couple agents here that can help take care of some of my clients if they have a question, that's more powerful to me than actually making money off them. So we'll have a couple of young agents in here, and we do a lot of business. But I'm just there to help them, mentor them, get them up and going. And then we just have this tight circle that if one of us are gone, then everybody else jumps in and helps out.
That's awesome. Well, it makes all the difference because our business is such a personal business. So having people that you can trust is terrific. Yeah, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. Anything you'd like to wrap up, or anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
Just if you're a brand new agent, even if you're not a new agent, even if you're an agent with some other company out there that you cap consistently, you do a lot of business, things like that, you really need to look at the EXP model. Just because we've all only got so much time in the day, and if you want to make that time count, if you want to spend more time with your family, make more. I mean, I've tried Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, and I've had all the rest of them call me, and I haven't found a model yet that beats EXP model. And so you spend the same amount of time, just make triple the money. It just makes sense to me.
Brilliant. Boy, that's the way to land a plane. Spend the same amount of time and make triple the money. That's the way we wrap up. So thanks for joining me today. And if anybody's moving to Idaho Falls and needs a great referral, we'll include your link in the comments so people know how to reach you.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much.